Hi, my name's John Dick, and this is the first Q&A SCUM video. Hopefully not the last one. It seems that our last scat video made some noise, and we kind of felt that some of the features needed to be explained better. So let's address the biggest issue of them all, and that's the wall hack issue. Before we start on that, we have to go back 30 years, back to a time when games were more hardcore, developers were more honest and trustworthy, and players were great. They're always great. But back then, graphics were less awesome, and the overall realism, look, and feel was a lot simpler than it was today. With time, gamers have embraced certain standards, and although many of those things don't exist in real life, it's normal to have a health bar as an indication of your health status, blood stains, or a grayscale effect when you get wounded. It's okay to have crosshairs also, especially because it's difficult to aim in a 3D world rendered on 2D screens. Without these elements, the gaming experience will not be as enjoyable as it is. And why are things like that? Well, the answer is pretty simple. When in real life we have basic senses, a gut sense, and some have a sense of humor also. In games, we're limited to only visual and sounds. So if you want to simulate them, they have to be either rendered or played as sounds. In SCUM, we simulate what characters see, hear, and feel in general, and then send that information to players that control them. Here's where the body control unit kicks in. Before we started to work on SCUM, we talked about the realism and how it's presented in survival games today. If you take a minimal approach, then your character might die without any obvious reason. One minute, you're a happy character just running around doing your thing, and the next minute, you're a corpse. In real life, before you die, your body will send warning signals like pain, discomfort, sometimes months before bad things happen. SCUM isn't just a game, it's a universe. Prisoners are implanted with BCUs that track them and can broadcast video for prisoners' eyes directly to live TV. BCUs are connected to the character's spinal cord. They can collect subjects' health status, affect the hormone levels, even take control of the character if necessary. They can also render data in front of the character's eyes. And once the BCU is removed, a HUD will be significantly reduced or removed. With BCUs, all prisoners are connected in one huge hive. The second thing we have to address are human eyes and how they work. In short, our eyes have central and peripheral vision that can't be simulated in computer games. For both eyes combined, horizontal field of view is between 200 and 220 degrees, while central vision is only about 5 degrees in the center. Visual acuity declines by about 50% every 2.5 degrees from the center up to about 30 degrees, at which point visual acuity declines even more steeply. If we try to simulate this on a computer screen, it would look something like this. The central vision helps to focus straight ahead, to see details sharply, and peripheral vision is used for detecting motion. While the central vision is good at various distances, the peripheral is good for large or close objects. The loss of peripheral vision while retaining central vision is known as tunnel vision. SCUM simulates what your character sees by projecting imaginary curves. Everything in those curves can be detected by the tactics skill. For distant objects, players will have to use only a small fraction of the vision to keep their target in focus. You can see that curves are set in a way that characters can detect bigger, closer, or moving objects with ease. In combination with the awareness skill, this curve is also used when rendering camouflaged enemies at a close range. Here's an experimental feature that we've added for the focus mode. By using the right mouse button to enter the focus mode, players will gain a slight magnification of the view, but they'll lose some part of their peripheral vision. So let's talk about the tactics skill, finally. So right now, you have at least some general idea what variables are taken into consideration when tactics are being calculated. There's no way tactics will highlight every single target on the screen, and in most cases it will be effective only if you can focus directly on the target. Time of tactics skill is significantly reduced compared to what you've seen in the last video, which was more of an example than something that will or can be used in the game. Furthermore, to keep tactics working, you'll have to follow your target all the time, meaning that you probably won't be able to focus on anything else. The moment you lose track of your target, tactics will be turned off. Also, we've replaced the infamous outline with something more like a fading blob contour. That fits much better for this purpose. If you've seen the movie Gamer, the players take full control of the human being in full-scale combat. In SCUM, it's similar. You, as a player, live in symbiosis with the host, your prisoner. Instead of having an avatar, like in other games, you're actually controlling a living person. It's all part of the show. The most important thing to remember is, no matter the camera position, we don't render anything that your characters don't detect. Because all skills in SCUM are somewhat connected, there's one more thing worth mentioning. The speed of entry into focus mode depends on awareness skill level. This means that if your target is moving fast, low skill level characters will not be able to zoom fast enough to lock the target before it disappears behind the obstacle. In the game, there will be around 30 different skills you'll be able to assign to your character. Some of the skills will be available at the release date, others will be added during the early access. Even if you don't assign some skills during the character creation process, they can be learned later in the game. When we present stuff in the development blog videos, all the skills are on advanced levels and they look powerful. And that's the point of advanced skills, the main area of expertise of your convict. The bad news is that investing too many points in this specific skill will make your other skills weak. It'll be up to you to choose what your host has learned before he became the prisoner, so choose wisely. Alright, it's time for a little Q&A. First question is, what happens when you die? Well, your soul is sucked into the eternal void and you spend an agonizing... Oh, wait, you mean in the game. Okay. Well, in the game when you die, it depends on how famous you are. If you've collected enough fame points, you can spend them to get resurrected in the game. If not, your character will be lost, but you can start with a new one, of course. This system will be available after early access, probably, or the early access version of the fame points will be simplified. Still working on it. How long does a game session last? This one can't be answered easily. SCUM will have 3 different layers of gameplay, or we can call them entry levels. Some of them will have short sessions, like 20, 30-minute tops, while others will have sessions that'll take hundreds of hours. It all depends on how players would prefer to play the game. We'll talk later about these different layers of gameplay. Question number 3, what are some ways to balance the servers depending on the skills of the players? That's a very good question. SCUM will not have classic random played sessions as Battle Royale games have. Because of how SCUM is designed with different gameplay layers, it's almost impossible to make matchmaking. So we'd rather go in a direction of making a new system of rewards, where low-skilled players are worth less than high-skilled players. Or in other words, the more famous players. That way we can create a pressure reward system that works well for both types of players. Question number 4, will there be a map? And if so, will it have markers? We're not sure if players will have access to a map at the beginning, but if we have to answer something right now, it would probably be no. For some TV show events, players will be able to use temporary maps that will be uploaded to their BCUs. Question number 5, when is it coming out? The release date is currently set in the first quarter of 2018, so not that far away. Get good fast, scrub. You're going to be tested. Question number 6. Will SCUM be difficult to play? SCUM has a low entry level, and it can be played by pretty much anyone. Except your mom, because she doesn't have skill. Question number 7. How will you handle hackers? Right now, the plan is to use the Easy Anti-Cheat service. And question number 8, finally, how many players per server? We're targeting 64 plus players per server, so plenty of room for everyone. Thank you for watching this Q&A. Bear in mind that everything you saw here is a work in progress and is subject to change. We plan to test out all the features, and if some of them turn out to be overpowered, they'll be adjusted or removed from the game. We appreciate your feedback, as always, and look forward to playing SCUM with you in the near future.